throws deep on the sideline. Incomplete. Intended for Wiggins. And will bring up 2nd down and 10 with 3:24 left in the half.
Bobby Newcomb is so used to throwing big plays all day, coming out to the outside again in a man-to-man coverage right here. But the tight end, Sheldon Jackson, is open. Watch him come across the middle of the field. I think you'll see Frank Solich get some word from Turner Gill upstairs that our tight end on that play is wide open, and come back to that later.
Well, Jackson had 2 big catches last week that helped the cause. 2 catches for 70 yards in that Oklahoma State game. And they're going to have to get him the ball sometime. Bobby Newcomb, 4 of 7 in the first half. Comes up throwing again. Completes it again to Davison. And he's tracked down at the 45, a gain of about 6. And it's going to be a 3rd down situation again. 3rd down and 4 for Nebraska.
Dat Wynn is just now trotting on the field. Chad Franson, who the old 12th man, who was issued number 59 before, was wearing 12 today, was on the field in that situation. Dat's back out there.
The reason he was wearing the number 12 jersey again is the last 2 weeks their 12 men have been hurt.
Right.
So Chad Franson put on the old jersey. Dat Wynn's back in his old spot though. 3rd down and 4. First man short of the first down again. It wasn't the first man. It was a nice fake, but Holdman puts the stop on Newcomb, and it's time to punt again, unless Frank Solich wants to gamble a little bit with 2:25 to go here.
I doubt if he will. Another good call by Mike Hankwitz that time. He came off the corner, off the slide, with the safety blitz that time. Bobby Newcomb saw it, and that's why he turned it up so quickly. They wanted to run the option, but Hankwitz guessed right. I don't know if he's guessing though, Brad. Really, 14 straight years
this
he's
is being
faced
the
Nebraska.
15th,
This
yeah.
is the 15th.
Well, you don't very often see Nebraska punt 6 times in a half. That's what they're set to do again. LaFleur, another high beauty. Taylor again lets it go, and it makes the end zone. Just a little bit too much on those kicks. 52-yarder, and the Aggies come back out on the field from the 20-yard line, and they still got some time to work now. 150. You would think R.C. Slocum would want to play this safe now. If they can take a touchdown lead to the locker room, they'd be happy with that. Although, remember, the kickoff classic, they had the lead against Florida State at halftime, and it didn't hold up.
That is true. 2 big turnovers in that game turned the tide very quickly, but I don't think this A&M team fears Nebraska the way they did FSU coming from behind with that passing game. I think you'll see it very close to the vest. I agree with you.
Give is Hall, and Dante's dropped for a loss by Mike Rucker. Loss of about 2.
I think you'll see Nebraska call a timeout. There you go.
Florida State, a 23-14 loss in that one. They lost on a come-from-behind effort last year in the bowl game to UCLA. And Nebraska in the Big 12 championship. But a different story so far today with 1:42 left. It's the Aggies in front of the Cornhuskers.
It would have been easy to have been a football player and not a student. And conversely, it would have been much easier to have been just a student and left football for some other day and time. But it wouldn't have been as joyous, as rich, as humbling to have been one without the other. So for all of us, I say thank you from the bottom of my heart, not for a single award on a single night, but for the many memorable and molding moments that we have had the privilege to call ourselves student athletes.
ABC Tuesday. Brad's fear of going to college has him looking for an easy way out.
Don't you ever worry about messing up? Have you ever seen Tool Time?
Then, America knows a hit comedy when they see it.
You must be Michael and Sydney's dad. How do you know that? Well...
The Hugleys right after Home Improvement. ABC Tuesday.
Looking for some action this Saturday night? All new funny video action? That is...
Go with it, baby.
AFB, ABC Tonight.
Kyle Field, about 12,000 less fans than normal. 58,000's capacity now with the construction going on. And out to the 25 goes Dante Hall. Jay Foreman made the tackle. You know, the bad news is you got to get your hair cut here. The good news is you get to kiss the girl next to you every time the team scores.
Well, the way styles are going nowadays, these haircuts are right in style.
That's true.
You know, before they used to stand out. Now I think everybody's got one of those things, don't they?
And the wave of maroon. They had 20,000 at yell practice last night here, as they always do the night before a game. And set to take over at halftime, which is 132 away. And that's when John and Todd will be along to update you on all the scores and highlights from the other games. Some huge games going on today. There's the Nebraska section.
In red. Now, I don't know when's the last time I've seen a maroon clash with a red like this since I picked out my sport coat and tie last time. Now, Christy usually does it for me. There's the nice red. It just does not go with maroon, does it?
Nope.
This doesn't go.
That one row over there, those people just can't get along.
They really are clashing.
This is a tough place to play football, though, as we told you about R.C. Slocum's home winning record in the last 10 years. And it is one of those places, and especially when they get that new facility and the new end zone done, it's going to be loud in here, and it's going to be crazy. It's going to be even crazier later on if they somehow can hold on for 2 more quarters against Nebraska.
Pretty good company up there, huh?
Yep.
Seems to me that this is the perfect opponent. The reason why A&M went into the Big 12 was a game just like this for Nebraska to come to their home field.
They're down 6-1 in the series against Nebraska, but keep in mind this is the Cornhuskers' first trip into Kyle Field. Those other games were either at Nebraska or neutral sites.
My. He had to get to the line for a first down. Obviously, he's just short, and I got to believe Nebraska's going to take another timeout.
Make him give it up.
You don't have to measure. There's no need to measure. If you touch the line, it's a first down.
And the foot of the official is not touching the line.
Right. You don't have to bring the chains out on this. Look at that. They're bringing the chains out. These guys don't know.
Oh, they just changed their mind.
If the nose is touching the ball, it's a first down. The nose of the ball is touching the line. It's just like the end line of the end zone.
I tell you what, we were going by the linesman, and he wasn't even close to the 30-yard line.
See the nose of the ball right there.
That's when, if you're Jimmy Durante, you got yourself a first down.
That's right.
You go.
That's all you got is got to have a big nose. That's right there. I didn't mean that, Randy.
You weren't looking at me, were you?
Nope,
okay.
Randy neither.
All right.
Still time, either going to throw the ball deep or run the ball.
And it's Hall. I'd say about 4. Lauren Kaiser's been a busy defensive lineman. He's had a lot of stops today. And we are under a minute.
You know, if this is, if you're Florida State or Florida or, Purdue, UCLA, you're taking timeouts. Right now, you're Texas A&M. You're still not to the stage throwing the ball with a second start quarterback to really take chances like this. I think going in 14-7 at halftime, you got the advantage. You got to feel good about it.
I just got that itch right here. Just looking at you that they should throw it.
Throw the ball. Throw it. If you do, let's throw it real deep.
2nd and 6. And they won't. It's Toombs. And he gets popped as he crossed the 35 out to the 36-yard line. Kelsey made the stop.
So many times in this situation, you see a quarterback, he's watched so many games on television, try to make a play that he shouldn't make and make a mistake. I think this is good coaching. Get it into halftime, take the momentum, make your fans happy, sell a lot of hot dogs and concessions, right?
Last week, tied with Oklahoma State at the break. This week, trailing 18th ranked Texas A&M at the break. And the Valvoline halftime 98 with John Saunders and Todd Blackledge coming up. It is 14-7. The Aggies trying to pull an upset here at Kyle Field.
Home Depot is very serious about paint. We want to be your paint store.
We are a real paint store. You go to paint, you can get everything. You can get the rollers, you can get your paint.
You're going to need drop cloths. We've got that. You're going to need ladders. We've got ladders.
Because you can get more than just quality paint. You can get your paint. You can get all your supplies.
We can mix paint. We can color match paint. We've got everything you need to get a paint job done.
We can custom tint anything. I mean, you could bring in your shirt and we could match your shirt.
We have the products and the product knowledge that the paint stores have, if not more of it.
Afraid your next get-together will be a flop? Order Chili's Party Platters. Act now. Call a Chili's representative, and your guests will flip over party-sized servings of buffalo wings, fajitas, baby back ribs, and more. End pre-party stress now. Order Chili's Party Platters new from Chili's.
Hi. Tired of financial companies that make you feel small and unimportant?
No, I'm sorry, I can't help you.
Then sit down with a MetLife financial professional to discuss your financial future. Get Met. It pays.
Why are business travelers choosing Sleep Inn? The well-lit grounds, the electronic locks, the walk-in showers, complimentary breakfast. Because it's a place that understands the needs of the business traveler. It's all those things. Plus the service.
Hey, knock it off.
Is incredible. If you're traveling on business, Stay at Sleep Inn, in a class by itself.
Something powerful is happening. Introducing the new Silverado with a more powerful V8 than any other pickup. It's the truck from Chevrolet.
Valvoline, halftime 98. Brought to you by Valvoline. You can always tell the guys who use Valvoline. From our New York studios, John Saunders and Todd Blackledge.
Nebraska did struggle last week against Oklahoma State, but I'm surprised you were not. You expected this.
Well, Texas A&M, we saw them in the opening week. They can play defense. The only question for them, can they score enough points to beat a team like Nebraska? So far, they're doing their job.
All right, 14-7 at halftime. Second half still to come. Right now, let's rip down the scores and the highlights. Tennessee against Georgia. A lot of this action in the top 10. 8 of the top 10 teams in action today. 6-3. Champ Bailey with another interception.
His second interception of the season. Both teams playing very good defense in this. Both teams a lot of speed on the defensive side of the ball.
T. Martin and Quincy Carter. Carter, of course, the freshman, doing so well in this game. This one is tied at 7 apiece between Florida State and Miami. Another one of those games that used to be a huge rivalry.
Well, Miami still remembering Florida State beat them 47-0 last year. Those Miami players were playing with a lot of enthusiasm today.
Peter Warwick with a touchdown reception in that game. Ohio State, the #1 team in the nation. The top 5 all on the road today, but you knew the Buckeyes, it would not be tough. Joe Germain to John Lumpkin, 1 yard on a touchdown pass there. Joe Germain had a pretty good day.
When you try to gang up and stop the run, Joe Germain can really kill you. He's a very accurate passer. Here he goes 30 yards to David Boston. Solid game for Joe Germain. 307 yards and 3 touchdown throws.
And for Michael Wiley, they only need 68 yards on the ground to get the 41-0 victory. Penn State against Minnesota. Penn State, of course, losing to Ohio State a week ago. And the entire Minnesota team down for the pregame prayer. And Andy Pursby would need it because he gets sacked by Mac Morrison. The freshman in there so tough for Minnesota.
And against a good Penn State defense. This is the best Penn State defense I've seen since they've been in the Big Ten. They have not allowed a point in the first quarter yet, shutting out Minnesota as we speak.
Number 19, Arkansas. They have surprised a lot of people, up to 4-0 right now. Madre Hill with a touchdown run. 13-3 is the score. Memphis has just been a struggling team looking for their first win. Missouri, number 21 against Iowa State. Corby Jones, some were questioning whether or not he could play in this game. 2 touchdown passes and a touchdown run.
Well, he's their leader, and I'll tell you, they just feed off of having him in the ballgame. He's sucking it up for the team today, leading them right now in the fourth quarter.
Iowa State, unfortunately, has to go against top rushers 3 weeks in a row. You know they're going to struggle on that one. First, both Ricky Williams and then Devin West.
Yeah, Iowa State has a pretty good rusher of their own, Darren Davis, but their defense really tested the last 3 weeks in a row.
The Fighting Irish of Notre Dame at Arizona State. A couple of teams enigmas thus far this year. You don't know which way they're going to go. Jarius Jackson has a bum shoulder. Doesn't stop him here as he hooks up with Malcolm Johnson. 7 yards, and the Irish score first. Ryan Keeley then in some trouble.
Well, we're seeing this in a lot of the games today. Miscues leading to points. Here, Keeley, an ill-advised throw intercepted by Sanders. Returns it 26 yards for the touchdown. Notre Dame up in front. Both of their touchdowns the result of turnovers.
Irish looking to go 4-1. Their only loss was to Michigan State. They got clobbered in that one. Georgia Tech and NC State in the ACC. Jesse Wade bobbles the snap. And the kick gets blocked by Travis Tillman, recovered by Jason Bostic, and Georgia Tech comes up with a touchdown. Special teams so much, but you got to stop Torrey Holt, and it's tough to do that.
Torrey Holt is proving to be the best receiver in the country. Here he goes, a little throw action. Throwing, you got to respect him on the end around 45 yards to Chris Coleman to get North Carolina State right back in it, but you see Georgia Tech with the 16-point lead.
We'll keep you up to date on that one. Now, in Major League Baseball today, the Atlanta Braves looking to get their first victory in the NLCS. The Padres are leading it 2-0. This one is scoreless. We'll keep you up on that one as well. Navy against Air Force. Hale Bonds, 2 touchdown runs and a touchdown pass. Navy is getting clobbered in this one. And Air Force is now 28 for 28 in the red zone, including 23 touchdowns. Mississippi and Alabama, it's a 10-7 lead for the Tide. Utah State at Washington. Washington has a couple of losses already, but they got a big lead here. 36-0 is the score. Willie Hurst with 2 touchdown runs. And North Carolina gets Pittsburgh. 29-10 is the final. Oscar Davenport a 44-yard touchdown pass in the game. A big matchup tonight. Kansas State against Colorado. Interesting teams. People say K-State has not been tested. Colorado, on the other hand, has had to come back just about every game.
Well, and John, everybody has questions. You know, is Kansas State for real? Are their offense and defense as good as their statistics would suggest? We'll find a little more out tonight, but one thing that's for sure, their special teams are outstanding. You take a look, they have the best combination of kickers in the country. Martin Gramatica, their place kicker, he was the Grozo Award winner last year. This is a 65-yarder he kicked earlier. And then when they have to punt the ball, which they've only had to do it 8 times so far this year, James Garcia is averaging 56 yards per punt. They win the battle of field position every game they play because of their kicking game. You throw in there David Allen, who's the nation's leading punt returner, already has returned 3 for touchdowns. Kansas State has not been in a close ball game yet. But when they get in a close game, and I think this game against Colorado tonight will be a close one, go into the fourth quarter, the special teams will be the difference for Kansas State tonight and the rest of the season.
A big one coming up later tonight. We'll continue with more Valvoline Halftime 98 right after this. Yes, Texas A&M has the lead on Nebraska at halftime. McCown to Chris Taylor, 81 yards on the touchdown.
On the highway, looking for adventure, and whatever comes our way. Oh yeah, here and God are gonna make it. Born to be wild, born to be wild.
Before I quit smoking, I asked my doctor, is Nicorette gum safe? And he said, to quit smoking? Of course Nicorette gum is safe. Smoking is not. People smoke to get nicotine, and they get carbon monoxide and tars, which are deadly. Smoking is the danger. Nicorette can be a big part of the solution. Nicorette lets you use nicotine when you need it to help you overcome your cravings. Don't hesitate for a second.
Nicorette gum helps you fight your cravings, your habit, your way. You can do it. Nicorette can help.
Texas A&M University, where leaders are developed, bright minds are challenged, and a rich tradition defines us. Where scholars conduct important research to enrich the lives of people everywhere. We have one of the largest student bodies in the country, yet we are committed to giving our students personal attention. We are Texas A&M University, daring to be the best, keeping an eye on the future.
This is Valvoline Halftime 98. Oklahoma and Texas in the house that Doak built today. And you can see Ricky Williams wearing number 37, the number of his friend Doak Walker, who passed away a couple of weeks ago. And Todd, you had a chance to meet Ricky Williams earlier this year. Obviously a class act, but consider this. He already has 4 NCAA records. By the end of this year, that number could be as high as 11 and likely will be 10.
You know, and John, sometimes the numbers are harder to digest, but consider this. This season, coming into today, he had run for more yards than 108 of 112 Division I teams and scored more points than 63 of them. That just by himself.
Absolutely amazing. He needs about 130 yards a game to become the #1 rusher in the history of the game. Ricky Williams here, 20 yards in the first half. He really took off early in this game. Shows the speed there and then shows the power.
He only needs a crease because he's got the great acceleration. He's got the power to break arm tackles. Here he goes 10 yards into the end zone. His second touchdown of the day. As you take a look at his numbers, 139 yards and the 2 touchdowns.
34-3 is the final, the biggest win in the River Battle since 1970. And here's the list. Keep this in mind. Everyone on this list, except for Ricky Williams, that may change, has won a Heisman Trophy.
Well, saw all of those guys play and carry the football. Rare company indeed, Ricky Williams is keeping.
In the Big East, West Virginia against Temple. Amos Zeroe could not play. A couple of ailments in this one, so he's on the sidelines and sweats. But the guy who stepped in for him really did the job.
Alvin Swoop did a great job coming off the bench. 141 yards and 2 touchdowns. Also a nice day by quarterback Mark Bolger. 257 yards and 3 scoring tosses.
And 6 straight games with 2 or more touchdown passes for Bolger. Maryland against Clemson, and the Terps struggle in Death Valley. Brandon Streeter here, 28 yards to Brian Wofford for the touchdown, and the Terps get shut out 23-0.
Well, Clemson has now beaten Maryland 6 games in a row, and in those 6 games, Maryland has scored only a total of 12 points.
Wild one in the Big Ten, Indiana against Michigan State. Cedric Irvin, this is in the second overtime, takes the handoff, cuts to the right, then back upfield, 25 yards for the touchdown. Michigan State on top, then a chance to do it on defense for Nick Saban.
4th and 12, last-ditch effort. Jay Rogers trying to hit Tyrone Browning. The big hit by Marshall. Game over. Overtime win for Michigan State.
38-31 is the final, and Cedric Irvin with 130 yards and 2 touchdowns, including that game winner. Northwestern against Iowa. This one is a tough one to call. Randy Reiner scrambles, then hooks up with Kevin Casper out of a couple of tackles there. Tosses the football. 50 yards on the touchdown, as Iowa would pull off the victory over Northwestern 26-24.
Well, Northwestern had won the 3 previous games in this series. A good win for Iowa at home in this one.
If you're Auburn, you're in some trouble, because if you lose this game today to Mississippi State, you're looking at being 1-4 for the first time since the 1950s. And Auburn did struggle again. There's War Eagle, but this is the opening kickoff. Markeith Cooper fumbles it, and then they let him have a touchdown on this one. Looked like it should have been down.
Yeah, it looked like the man's knee was down when he picked up the ball. Looked like his knee was down again when he lateraled it. 2 times they could have blown this play dead. Instead, it's a great start in this ballgame for Mississippi State as they go on to win 38-21.
Eugene Clinton with the touchdown on that play. But here's the Auburn miscues. You turn it over like this, and you will struggle.
Yeah, when you're struggling, it just seems like you go from bad to worse. And Mississippi State made Auburn pay with those miscues. You see, some teams don't always do that. Mississippi State, when they got the turnovers, they scored points.
Marshall is now 6-0, and they've won 95 games in the 90s. That's the most wins for Division 1A or 1AA. Chad Pennington with another terrific day. Don't forget, next Saturday, 3:30 Eastern on ABC. Purdue against Penn State. Purdue, their quarterback is Drew Brees. He is a sight to see. 522 yards passing last week. In the Pac-10, a couple of the great offenses. Oregon goes up against UCLA. In the ACC, Virginia against Georgia Tech. Great offense against a great defense. And in the Big 12, you're going to see one of these games, either Oklahoma State or Kansas State or Texas Tech against Colorado. Whoever wins the K-State-Colorado game tonight, that is the team we will see next week. We'll continue with more Valvoline Halftime 98 right after this.
Some people have shrinks. Some people have their garage.
Hi, I'm expecting a fax.
Room 212 wants the ammunition to deal with her toughest clients.
Nothing? Hi, Davies, 212. I called earlier.
Right, fax. It hasn't come yet.
I need it for a meeting.
Excuse me, Miss Davies? Just came in.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone.
Business services by Marriott. When you're comfortable, you could do anything.
Still going. I've had marriages that didn't last this long.
Valvoline, Halftime 98, brought to you by Valvoline. You can always tell the guys who use Valvoline.
This year, Big 12 athletes are lining up, not only on the field of play, but to support another group of athletes, Special Olympians. Each year, athletes, coaches, and administrators from across the conference participate in a variety of Special Olympic activities, from tennis to swimming to track and field. The Big 12 Conference and Special Olympics have formed a winning partnership.
Some sports are better for the heart.
Special Olympics and the Big 12 Conference, a partnership for life.
Want to get away to a place that's spellbinding?
You can be beautiful just like me.
Escape to a world that's exceptionally clever.
When you look into Jeanette's eyes, you'll know what she's thinking.
Have a night that's a fantasy come true.
You'll pay later.
The all-new Fantasy Island, followed by Cupid ABC tonight.
Sunday, in the macho world of race car driving, he wanted to be a sheep.
I liked being a girl.
Barbara Walters, Diane Sawyer, 2020 Sunday.
Feel the thrill of giving away $1 million and blowing up a famous landmark.
1 minute.
You'll be there for an all-new Behind Closed Doors with Joan London, ABC Tuesday.
The Bowl Championship Series is online with live action, interviews, game highlights, and live polls at ESPN.com and on America Online.
Welcome back. Your second half is straight ahead, but first it's time to introduce this week's winner of the Burger King Scholar Athlete of the Week Award. Each week during the 98 season, Burger King Corporation and its National Franchise Association will donate $1 million to the general scholarship funds of recipient colleges and universities. This week's Scholar Athlete is Jake Stuvey, tight end at the University of Missouri. Jake, who recently completed his undergraduate biology degree with a 3.83 GPA, stresses the importance of hitting the books.
I just think education is the most important asset that anybody can have in this day and age, with information and things changing hands at literally the speed of light. The knowledge that you gain in the classroom is what's going to last you a lifetime.
Jake Stuvey, the Burger King Scholar Athlete. ABC's coverage of college football will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
I know a place.
This is not a country for wimps. We invented the cowboy, the jawbreaker, and the quarterback blitz.
I'll take you there.
We are rough on our cars. So get a Chevy Malibu. It'll go up to 100,000 miles before its first scheduled tune-up. Transmission fluid, 100,000 miles. Engine coolant, 5 years or 150,000 miles. We're talking tough. The car you knew America could build. The Chevy Malibu.
I'll take you there. Oh.
Another Nokia discovery. Small words are hard to read, which is why at Nokia, we make wireless phones with screens that are big, so they're easier to read. Inspired technology with a human touch. Nokia. Connecting people.
ABC Tuesday, Mike takes his shot in the woods,
My son may look like a deer to you,
but ends up saving Private Bambi.
but that doesn't mean he shouldn't get the same quality care as a normal-looking kid.
Then, America's going wild over Sports Night.
This is a coup, Isaac. We need it promoted.
No problem. Sports Night after Spin City, ABC Tuesday.
It's the first ever truck season at your Sport Utility headquarters. And that means a huge overstock selection for the best inventory and savings of the year. You can get low 0.9% financing on every Explorer, which can save you over $6,100 during the 48-month contract. You can also get a great truck season deal on the ultimate Sport Utility Ford Expedition.
I'm crazy about National Ford Truck Season.
See your Texas Ford dealer today, home of the #1 selling Sport Utility in Texas.
Market Basket and Oak Farms, a great team.
Pizza, pizza. Pizza, pizza.
La quesadilla.
Queso? Pizza? Queso pizza.
Introducing Queso Pizza. It's like a quesadilla Mazio style. Choose any 2 delicious toppings with 4 cheeses between a crispy double crust. Add paste picante sauce and feed the whole band for $6.99.
That's the queso.
Pizza.
Queso Pizza at Mazio's. The pizza people crave.
It's real law, real justice. Judge Judy, weekdays at 3.
It's the kind of game that you need to bring some chapstick along. It's been a kisser for Texas A&M. A couple of touchdowns, a couple of big plays. They lead the #2 team in the country 14-7 as we're set to start the third quarter from Kyle Field in College Station, Texas. And the Cornhuskers trailing by a score also will have to kick off. Dante Hall is the deep man for the Aggies.
First time Nebraska has trailed since, Missouri last year?
It's been a long time. They were tied last week at halftime with Oklahoma State. And this one by Brown, deep in the end zone. Hall will just let it go.
Oh,
First time they trail. There it is. September of last year against Missouri. Of course, they went on to win that game in overtime. Might take that kind of performance today the way they're sputtering.
You know, this game has been pretty even. Nebraska, unbelievably, 30 plays for just 90 yards. Makovica, D'Angelo Evans, 14 yards apiece, and in Bobby Newcomb only 3 yards rushing. But, you know, except for the 2 big plays for 152 yards by Toombs and Taylor, A&M has had 29 plays for just 87 yards. So very even except for the 2 big plays.
First down from the 20. It has been a good old-fashioned pad popper, that's for sure. And now the audible called by McCown, and he wants to throw that sideline pass again, and in and out of the hands of Chris Cole this time. They've tried that fade several times, Gary. You said when they get single coverage out there, they do it. What they have done, though, is you said a couple of big plays have been the difference in the ballgame. 2 big plays. Jared Toombs gets the huge play for, to set up a touchdown, and then Chris Taylor the long touchdown. 2 plays for that much. I think Nebraska needs to find their running game somehow, and I will not be surprised if Bobby Newcomb kind of gets a little bit of a look-see early and they don't make a change at quarterback. He does not seem to me to be full speed. You saw in the Morgan Stanley Dean Witter first half statistics an anemic ground game for Nebraska of 38 yards, which is what Gary's talking about as A&M now goes to the ground for a couple in Dante Hall. But you talk about Nebraska, we talked about 73 yards is all they mustered on offense on the ground last week, and then they turn around and have 38 at halftime. They're on that same kind of pace, and that's just so un-Nebraska-like. Defensively, the leaders, Jay Foreman, 5 tackles leads the way. Kelsey and Finley, the 3 each. Mike Rucker had 1 tackle for loss late in that second quarter. They're going to need a lot more tackles for loss to get back in the game now. 3rd down and 8. That's Hodge in motion. Here comes some pressure. Looked like a face mask on Johnson, and let's see, he was called for a personal foul on a late hit last week that negated what would have been an interception and almost a touchdown by Jason Wiltz as he was roughing the quarterback last week. Let's take a look at his left hand here.
Randy McCown ducks the play right there, and you can see Eric Johnson trying to grab whatever he can to get the sack, but the first thing he gets is the face mask, and that's going to be a moving of the chains right there, an automatic first down.
McCown only 2 completions, but 1 was an 81-yard touchdown. 68 yards for Dante Hall, the workhorse. Jamar Toombs, though, the 71-yarder, part of his 89 in the first half.
From the previous spot, first down. A huge play because A&M would have been forced to punt the ball right there. Great defense, great rush from the outside. Just a mistake in aggressiveness that Frank Solich is looking at right there.
First down out at the 37. RC's in the shade now. So's the whole A&M bench. And out to the 39. 2 more for Hall. Dante's going to have to work for that yardage today to get up around 100. And you can see the shadows cast from press box on down onto Kyle Field. The other side,
on a hot
it's a little
day,
warm over there.
That would be a tough thing, and it would be a big advantage. But I think the weather is just perfect, whether you're in the sun or not.
Yeah, it's beautiful today.
It's just football weather down here.
2nd down and 8. Randy McCown has a look at that sweatband that carries the plays, called from the booth, and comes up to a 2nd down and 8. Sir Parker in motion out of the Aggie backfield. He's an extra receiver. That one's knocked down. Tony Ortiz, who's back and healthy now and playing linebacker, swatted that one away as they were going to try to swing it out to Sir Parker.
Tell you what they have to do. Tony Ortiz right here, number 37. He just reads the eyes of McCown right here. Just sticks his hand out. McCown is not the tallest quarterback, but you think, usually when you're a quarterback at that height, you get used to finding seams to throw into. And right now, McCown just 2 for 8 on the day, but he's made good on one of those throws, that's for sure.
There's another one coming up maybe. 3rd down and 8. Parker stays in there. And he and Toombs flank McCown in the shotgun. McCown's going to scramble for some time, looking for a block. Didn't get all that he needed, though. Got out to about the 43-yard line, and it's going to be a punting situation for the Aggies. So no harm, no foul, I guess, on Eric Johnson's personal foul.
Except for field position. But again, Randy McCown does a good job of not tossing the ball to the other side. If it's not there, let's punt. Now, that works okay when you're ahead 14-7, but The momentum of the game right now is pretty just much holding, waiting for somebody to make the next big play.
Leckler hasn't had a good punt all day, and he's an excellent punter. That long 55 is deceiving. This one is a good punt. Walker hit at the 6. Now, if they call that for too quick into that 2-yard zone, I'm going to be surprised. At some point, you just got to be able to go full blast.
Either that or, you know, what's happened with that new rule is none of the returners are calling fair catches anymore in those situations because they just feel, I think it's Toya Jones, number 5 that time, was the guy who came down and made a great play on it. Let's see if there's 2 yards. The 2-yard halo catches it. He's at the, yeah, that's 2 yards. That's 2 yards. That's what you're exactly ahead. He's on the 6. Jones was on the 8. 8 minus 6, 2. That's there. That's
nice man.
8. Just a 5-yard penalty. It's not that big a deal, really.
You see that thrown literally on every punt return.
Almost.
Has really had a tough time today. Maybe got a yard out of that.
He's been struggling with the bruised toe, and now he has a bruised tailbone last week, and you see the reaction by the coaches. They're kind of like in a bird nest right there, aren't they? They got a nice little view of the game.
7 of 8 possessions have gone first downless for Nebraska. Newcomb comes up firing. Dangerous pass, but caught.
That is beautiful defense that time.
Billy Hafke made the catch. Jason Webster was right there with him. That was a long throw cross field to only pick up 8 yards.
What happens is Bobby Newcomb sees that play by Jason Webster and knows next time he's going to have to make sure he gets that ball on time.
3rd down, a long one. Conversion for Nebraska, trying to start this 3rd quarter drive to get back in the football game. They trail by a touchdown. They've been stopped on a lot of these 3rd and shorts. Newcomb, he had to stretch out to get this one. I think he got it, though, by about the length of the ball. And that'll quiet the crowd temporarily with 10:59 remaining 3rd quarter. Nebraska with its first down of this 3rd quarter. They trail 18th ranked Texas A&M 14-7 here at Kyle Field, as Nebraska was held to 38 first half rushing yards, and they're still sputtering a little bit on offense. Now Newcomb off play action, wanted to go deep, scrambles, and he's going to go down. The wrecking crew gets to him. Cornelius Anthony, the first man there. Good coverage in the secondary and an even better delayed rush by the Aggies. So Nebraska still having trouble offensively. We welcome you, Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson at Kyle Field, a sold-out crowd in College Station, and loving what they're seeing from their Aggies.
Really has. It's been a game of big plays, and they've all been for Texas A&M so far. Nebraska needs to find some other people besides Matt Davidson to throw the ball. Sheldon Kennedy, their tight end's been wide open all game. They have not been able to get the ball to him.
The 2 big plays today for A&M. A 71-yard romp by their fullback that got him close, and an 81-yard touchdown pass. And now the defense going to work. Warwick Holdman. And they get to Newcomb on back-to-back plays.
Bobby Newcomb has been struggling with that leg. He does not have that explosive speed. He's been throwing okay throughout the game, but when people are not open right away, this is not a sophisticated pass offense for Nebraska. He's got one guy to throw to. He's not there. It's a sack. The wrecking crew is making a wreck of this Nebraska offense.
Mike Hankwitz, the defensive coordinator, has done a marvelous job with his troops, and now it's 3rd down and 19. Newcomb from the gun. And under the gun, and dropped again, and the ball is loose. Texas A&M, touchdown!
sudden a sack says put the chapstick on, as you said, and let's go. My, oh my.
Extra point makes it 21-7. The fans are loving it. The coaches are loving it. The whole stadium is shaking.
When you have it your way, it just tastes better.
When you're renting a car, you don't always want to drop it off where you pick it up. And with National Car Rental's one-way rate program, you don't have to. You could pick up your car in Jacksonville and drop it off in Nashville. Or pick it up in Los Angeles. Drop it off in Las Vegas. In fact, with National special one-way rates, you can pick up your car almost anywhere and drop it off almost anywhere else with no separate drop-off fee. So what are you waiting for? Let's go!
Sunday, Noah was first. Now it's Norman Waters' turn.
You don't want me to build a mall?
Tony Danza in a premiere movie event. Noah, ABC Sunday at 7, 6 Central.
Again, those of you watching Notre Dame against Arizona State, there is still a power outage. They're going to continue to play this game and keep the time with the stopwatch. We'll get out there as soon as we can, but right now, let's take you back out to Brad Nessler.
John, no lack of power in College Station. The power belongs to Holman, who just scored the defensive touchdown. And this place is rocking. It's 21-7. The Aggies lead the #2 team in the country.
Put Nebraska in those predictable situations in the past, and they make the same mistakes as everybody else.
Here's a kick. Down to the 9 to Wiggins. Wiggins got himself an alley on the left side. And he's going to get it all the way up near midfield. Nice return by Chevin Wiggins.
Ron Edwards is the guy who had the sack and made the play. He's right here. He's going to stunt around and make the sack right there and force the ball loose. Edwards is one of those young sophomore players that was maybe rushed a year ago, but the benefits of their experience are paying off this year. Holdman says, I'm going to get this one, and put 7 points for the Wrecking Crew on the board, and holy cow. Nebraska, the #2 team in the nation, is finding out what Kyle Field is all about.
From the 49-yard line. And the new quarterback is in.
Joel Makovica just got landed on his left leg right there.
It is Nuka, and Makovica gets up. I thought the Cornhuskers were going to bring in Monte Cristo, but they do not. Newcomb still out there. He has not been the Bobby Newcomb we've seen, though, in past games. Of course, we had him 2 weeks ago when he just splashed on the scene against Washington in that game. Got it down to the 40-yard line. And a first down. Here's a big opening for the fullback. All the way down to the 18-yard line. Makovica comes up limping on one play and goes 22 on the next.
First time I've seen in 2 games that Makovica has been able to find some space with the ball. And you know, this has not been like the Nebraska offense. The aberration is really the Washington game. The only time they've really had a type of a game that you would expect from this Nebraska rush offense. Otherwise, they've all been in the 200 yards rushing except for last week and again this week.
It's the longest play of the day, if you can believe it, for Nebraska. The fullback straight up the middle on that last play. At the 18. Newcomb keeps it. Might have gotten inside the 15. Dat Wynn came over to help on the stop.
That was a great play by Datwin right there. That was one where it doesn't really show up as a big hit, but that's a touchdown. If he doesn't get his right arm on Bobby Newcomb's leg that time, Bobby Newcomb's just going to walk into the end zone.
Again, Datwin, one of 12 semifinalists named today to the Lombardi Trophy, and that trophy is on display here in College Station. Down to 7:40 in the third. Second down and 6. 3 wideouts for Nebraska. Newcomb keeps it again, and guess who? Datwin. He's made a lot of them. In fact, he'll probably be the all-time tackle leader by the time he leaves. Came into this game with 413 career tackles. Johnny Holland is the man that's got the all-time record, and Dat's got Johnny in his sights.
That time Josh Eskew went to go for the legs of Datwin, and you're not going to block those quick feet. They're just too quick.
At the 11-yard line, there's the tackle numbers on Datwin in his career. Doesn't want to go down. He goes down short of the first down, though, and it's decision time for Frank Solich because it's 4th and 2.
Right, I don't think there's any decision. I think you got to kick the field goal. Still a lot of time left in this game. Going to run the ball right at Datwin this time, inside. You know, the reason Dat is so good is sometimes he takes the play on, other times he dodges. He never gives that offensive lineman the same look 2 plays in a row. Nebraska's going to go for it here.
There's the decision. Fearless Frank. 0-1 today, but 3 for 5 on the season on 4th down conversions. They're going to have to earn it. It's about 2 yards left. End around coming to Wiggins. Hit in the backfield and dropped. Jason Webster stayed home and made the play.
How many times do you see a reverse on 4th and 1? Here's Webster. He's coming off the corner. Remember on the short yardage situation earlier when Brooks made the tackle coming around the corner? This time Webster stays at home with the backside blitz, and the plays run right into him.
Aggies with a 2-touchdown lead and the ball back now. It's the second time today they've taken over on downs against Nebraska. They'll work from their own 14.
How often on 2 4th down plays do your 2 corners make the play on both of the 4th down plays to stop?
Nebraska thinking about a blitz here. And McCown off play action. Wants to throw on the run. Now he's going to keep it.
Not a lot of faking to do against Nebraska.
Nope.
Fake one guy, 3 other guys are coming at you like laser beams.
So the crowd momentarily takes a breath. Nobody is sitting down. That's something you have to get used to here, too. We haven't been here since last Thanksgiving when we had about 5 inches of rain, but nobody sits down in this place, so we have to stand, too, so we can see over them.
Mike Rucker has been quiet at that rush end position. Not a sack this year yet.
Here's Hall. And he found it opening across the 20 and out to the 22. He's only about 1.5 yards shy of the first down. Chad Kelsey made the hit. Dante Hall, as we said earlier, is going to have a lot of carries to get to 100, but he's working on it.
Watch Daniel Campbell, one of the great tight ends, blocking Rucker right here on this play. Campbell's about 250, 6'6". We saw him out in practice. A great specimen. He just pushes Rucker all over the field, and that's what causes the big gash on that play. Derek Spiller's the other tight end, but he's a bit nicked. He was even on crutches earlier this week, and it's been all Campbell so far.
3rd down and 2. Little option this time by the Aggies, and McCown's got a first down keeper. Haven't seen much of it, but he's capable of it. Ryan Shaw made the tackle. They'll move the sticks.
I always believe to run the ball effectively, you've got to have a tight end that can block. Watch Daniel Campbell this time. He takes on Shaw and actually firms out another guy and blocks out Foreman that time in kind of a rub block. You take one guy and you keep your eyes up for the next man in your position. Secure one, look for the next guy.
Well, that's going to get that guy a job in the NFL.
You bet it is.
That and the size you talked about, 260 plus. The 28. Only about 1 yard for Dante Hall.
No matter how this drive ends up, it's going to be a successful drive as long as A&M can punt it right now. They had the big stop on 4th down. They don't make a first down, and now you got a punter that's going to take you out of position, and they've eaten up probably 4 minutes off the clock again. It's the best thing Randy McCown has done today, I think, is not make any foolish plays. He had the interception That was more, I thought, Chris Cole running a bad route than the poor throw on the play.
There's a quarterback. Ultimate quarterback. Second down along 8. Under 4 minutes in the third quarter. Hodge in motion. Here's the toss. Sir Parker. Whew, man, did he take a hit to bounce off and get up to the 34-yard line.
To run the ball effectively against Nebraska, you have to handle their defensive ends. Here he is again, Daniel Campbell. Watch him just flatten and make a crease, just wall off. Look at the wall right there that big tight end does on the stunt. Brian Shaw's coming in on a stunt, but your tight end really creates a wall for your running back to run. That's why you gain 5 yards.
Third down and 4. Taylor, who's got a touchdown today, in motion to the top of your screen. And here comes Toombs. He almost broke it again. He got a first down. Rucker hit him low, but the big fella who rumbled 71 yards in the first half to get him close to a touchdown has a first down here.
A little bit of a trap action right there, following behind Cameron Spikes. Toombs coming in the same play that no, it isn't the same play. Very similar type call running inside on third down. It was more of a veer blocking before. This is a trap action following Spikes, and the big guy puts another movement of the chains.
Out to the 40, where it's first down again. Hall, big opener. Dante Hall, good move in the secondary to get it down to the 43-yard line. 17 more yards in a hurry, and now both backs are closing in on a 100-yard day.
We saw that offensive line yesterday, so focused out there in the walkthrough. Not one guy even fooling around. When you get beat by 54-15 in a championship game on national television, it has a way of getting your offensive line fired up for the next year's game. Remember, this A&M team a year ago in the Big 12 championship rushed for just 13 yards.
99 now for Hall, 94 for Toombs. And there, the I backfield behind McCown on a 1st and 10. McCown again wanted to throw down the sideline to Oliver, and he'll keep it. Whoever was covering Oliver out there grabbed a whole handful of jersey, but no defensive holding call was made.
It was a double move that time. They've run a few. Steve Kegthorpe saw the same thing I did. They've run a few of those fades. This time, McCown faked the fade. He kind of went hitch and go outside to try to get something different to the outside with the receiver. And you said you're right. A little pull by Sweeney that time. It wasn't called.
He almost lost that number 16 jersey. 8 plays, all run so far for the Aggies. Down to the 41-yard line of Nebraska. Whistle and a penalty. And it looked like maybe motion on Texas A&M. It's been relatively penalty-free today.
It especially has been for that offensive line. One holding penalty through the whole game against a defense that usually moves and forces you into those things.
Crowd and snap. Ball start on the offense.
R.C. Slocum, the winningest coach in Texas A&M history. We talked about what a tremendous record he has at home in his 10-year stay at College Station, but the Aggies have not done well against top 10 opponents. Today they're doing pretty well, 21-7, with just over 2 minutes left in the third quarter. And that time the snap to McCown, I think, is going to get their 5 yards back. Nice job by Seth McKinney.
I still find that a very dangerous play by the center, because if someone in your backfield is also moving, they just decline the penalty and tackle the quarterback. But in this case, it works perfectly. And you're right, they're right back where we were.
2-9 against top 10 teams. R.C. Slocum's record. But 2-2 at home. The other ones, neutral sites or away games.
R.C. told us, and has been very publicly with his situation in this game, and if they can beat Nebraska, this would push them up to the elite status in the country.
Notre Dame leading 20-3 over Arizona State with 9:05 left in the third quarter. For those of you who are viewing us and that game is not on your screen, it's because of a power hit that they've taken in the stadium there. They're working as quickly as possible to try to get you back to the Fighting Irish and Arizona State's game, and they're keeping the clock and the time on the field there. So that game does continue. They didn't stop the game. only that you're not seeing it right now, but you will be shortly. So in the meantime, Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson and our ABC crew here in College Station, Texas at Kyle Field, where there's an upset in the making. 21-7. The Aggies in front of a sold-out crowd, leading the number 2 team in the nation.
Third and medium.
They've been 2 for 2 on their third downs this drive. Sir Parker back in there at the tailback spot. McCown scrambles around, found an opening, got a first down. Inside the 20, McCown. First and goal, Texas A&M.
Chris Taylor made a big play. Jamar Toombs made a big play. And now Randy McCown makes a big play. Nebraska's in a man-to-man coverage situation. No one's looking at the quarterback. Once McCown breaks the line of scrimmage, you can see there's a lot of space. And right down first and goal, A&M has the ball again.
Dante Hall weaves his way inside the 5, down to about the 4-yard line.
It's just going to be about killing this third quarter, too.
38 seconds, all that remains. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust. By Morgan Stanley Dean Witter, we measure success one investor at a time. Marriott Hotels, Resorts, and Suites, we believe when you're comfortable, you can do anything. And National Car Rentals. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. It's second and goal from the 4. The toss. And about a yard gain for Dante Hall before he's swarmed under by the Nebraska defense, and that will bring this quarter to a close. Well, the guys that are working construction in the other end zone are going to love this because we're going to switch ends of the field. And it'll be a third and goal situation down in front of those gentlemen to start the fourth quarter. 21-7 Aggies. ABC Sports presentation of college football will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Sleek. Sophisticated. Stylish. And yet with an exhilarating V6. Chevy Monte Carlo lets you express that hidden part of your personality, just dying to get out.
Mr. Freeman.
How are you?
Tommy.
Monte Carlo. The side you show the world is up to you.
Franklin Perry may have the safest house on Bristol Court thanks to Liberty Mutual.
Wow. Carnothoris sapidus.
That's one mean bush. We have over 500 home safety tips, including how to prevent break-ins.
The ancient Greeks called this the bush of pain.
Tips like planting prickly bushes under your windows and installing deadbolt locks. Safer, more secure lives. That's the freedom of liberty. Liberty Mutual.
Miami meets Jacksonville for the first time. The game takes one night. The bragging rights are forever. Monday at 8 on ABC.
It's the truck event of the season with a huge overstock selection for the best inventory of the year. Your Texas Ford dealer offers the first ever truck season. It's the best time to buy a new Ford truck, like a new four-door F-150 Super Cab. With low 1.9% financing, you can save over $2,600 over 36 months on an F-150.
I'm crazy about National Ford Truck Season.
See your Texas Ford dealer today, home of the #1 selling cars and trucks in Texas. Woo!
Market Basket and Oak Farms, a great team.
Have fun with Howie Mandel, weekday mornings at 9.
Well, there's still a power problem in Tempe. Arizona State is down to Notre Dame. 14-3 is the score there. Now 21-3 as the Irish have added a touchdown. Autry Denson, 2 yards out, takes it in 21-3. We'll keep you up to date, but right now let's get you back out to Nebraska and Texas A&M.
John, it is 21-7 here as we start the fourth quarter. Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson with you. An upset, a huge upset in the making, as 18th ranked Texas A&M leading number 2 Nebraska.
As big as that stop was last week against Oklahoma State, is as big as this stop will be for the Nebraska defense. They must force a field goal here.
Hall, the tailback. 2 tight ends set, both Spiller and Campbell in there. On a 3rd and goal. The big rumble goes over for the score.
Been so much kissing going on, you're going to want to switch seats around here.
I wish I'd have brought my wife.
Yeah.
One play into the fourth quarter. And Russell Bynum's extra point makes it a shocking 28-7 A&M. You think they're not trying to pay back Nebraska for the Big 12 title game last year? They are on their way.
Because there is a man in Chicago planning his retirement this year. Because there is a family in Boston who hopes to send their kids to college someday. Because there is a doctor in New York looking forward to the day she will open her own clinic. Because the dreams of every investor continue to change in a complex world, so too have we. Which is why at Morgan Stanley Dean Witter, we measure success one investor at a time.
Afraid your next get-together will be a flop? Order Chili's Party Platters. Act now. Call a Chili's representative, and your guests will flip over party-sized servings of buffalo wings, fajitas, baby back ribs, and more. End pre-party stress now. Order Chili's Party Platters, new from Chili's.
You're born, you die. In between, you work on cars. We should all be so lucky.
I understand you got a bug problem.
Daddy! I want you to meet my friend.
Dad, phone call. Who's the IRS?
Sir, is this your son? Is this your dog?
Your life is full of worries. Your car shouldn't be. Get a Chevy Lumina. It's reliable, comfortable, and it's one less thing to worry about.
Sir, is this your house?
Heck, Lumina can even save you $1,000.
Sir?
One play into the fourth quarter. We didn't necessarily think that they were going to have to be cleaning off that many footballs in the end zone following extra point kicks by Texas A&M.
Watch this guy spiral. Well, he's got a nice arm.
This is coming back.
He's an option quarterback. Look at that.
There it is. Overthrew his receiver by just a little.
Right. In Texas, you get 3 offers for being able to throw like that. There's so many guys playing college football.
Now we can't come back to the state of Texas to do a game.
What a shocker, huh?
Wow. Still a long way to go, but on the short end by 3 touchdowns now, the Nebraska Cornhuskers. The kick deep in the end zone. Wiggins will touch it down, and the Huskers will go to work at the 20-yard line. Again, 21-3. Notre Dame leading Arizona State. And for those of you expecting to have seen that game in your area, a power outage has caused the switch over to our game. We're working on it. Our ABC crew's working on it to try to get you your picture and your game back. In the meantime, the picture you're seeing, you don't have to rub your eyes. It's not blurry. It is 28-7. Texas A&M over number 2 Nebraska. Bobby Newcomb got about 3 on the keeper. Royland Bradley in on the tackle. And now Nebraska's going to have to start getting it in some bigger chunks. They just don't have enough time left.
I think A&M would be very, very happy right now, taking away the tailback and forcing Newcomb and Makovica to run in the ball all day. Bobby Newcomb has been hit and hit hard every time he's run the ball.
He said against Oklahoma State was his most physical and mental test that he's had so far. I think it's today now.
Yeah, he's going to have a new one today.
Second down at 7. Nice play fake. There goes a bigger chunk, but he got his man too, and it's Davison. Davison's been his favorite receiver today, and that time cuts it loose for 48 yards.
But Warwick Holdman that time put a little pressure on Bobby Newcomb, but Bobby held into the pocket. Davidson's going to come down here and run the post route. Decent coverage this time. Jason Webster goes for the ball. Great concentration from Davison. He may pull this game out himself again.
Well, he pulled out the game against Missouri, of course, last year. He's got 100 yards on 6 catches today. Now they go back to the ground game. Straight ahead. Akavica has about 5. So Nebraska is working down toward that red zone again, which has given them so much success on the season, but not much success today. Only 1 touchdown, and that was by Correll Buckhalter. 2nd down and 5 here. The Huskers at the Aggies' 23-yard line. Newcomb decides to keep it and paid the price. Statwin and Royland Bradley made a Newcomb sandwich, and it's 3rd down.
One of the things you notice about this A&M defense, the more you watch it in this game, is that Nebraska doesn't knock any of them down. They all reach, but watch the A&M guys. They keep their feet. They dodge blocks. They keep running. They keep going, and all of a sudden, somebody in pursuit makes a play. Not one of the 11 guys for that A&M defense that time was knocked on the ground.
No pancakes here.
No pancakes. There's going to be surf on this play.
Some scrambled eggs at the end of it, maybe. 3rd down, short 5. 12:45 left in the ball game. Newcomb fires over the outstretched arms of Davison. And now on 4th and 5, does Nebraska go for it again? They're 0 for 2 on their 4th down conversions. They're not going to give many chances.
No, but Frank Solich, I know he didn't hear me, but he didn't listen to my advice last time. I thought he should have kicked the field goal and put some points on the board when they still were in the ball game. Just gave too much momentum to that A&M team, not kicking that field goal. And now, obviously, 4th and 5 and down 3 touchdowns, you have to go for it.
Sheldon Jackson's been a kind of a quiet tight end, too. He just came back in with the play from the bench. Another 4th down. Newcomb delivers it. Davison can't hold it.
Oh, that's a great play. Great play by Jason Webster that time. The 3rd time a corner has made the play on 4th down in this game.
Amazing?
Jay Brooks the first time, Jason Webster on the last 4th down, and Jason Webster again comes up and makes the play.
And that pass was on the money, but it was just too good a play by number 39.
I'm telling you, this place is cheesy cakes.
I had a turkey chased by a poodle.
I was headed for Brooklyn, wound up in Cincinnati.
My mother-in-law moved in, never left.
This guy had a 5-bagger in the graveyard. It was beautiful.
Any game with its own language deserves its own beer. New Bud and Bud Light pin-shaped bottles.
My shoes are too tight.
I know a place.
This is not a country for wimps. We invented the cowboy, the jawbreaker, and the quarterback blitz.
I'll take you there.
We are rough on our cars. So get a Chevy Malibu. It'll go up to 100,000 miles before its first scheduled tune-up. Transmission fluid, 100,000 miles. Engine coolant, 5 years or 150,000 miles.